Next thing we need to do now is we need to remove the shock absorber retaining bolt. Right, it's a 12mm socket to get the shock absorber retaining bolt free. So let's see if this bracket will come off now. Once we've undone the nut, hopefully it will. There's one or two spaces behind here, so we should really just make sure that we take care of those. Oh, look at that. Off it comes with a spacer. That is a bonus. I was thinking that I may have had to use a spacer for that, but that is an absolute bonus. Right, hopefully we've got the same with the wheel now. The wheel will come off, although it's looking like I'm going to have to undo the mudguard here. Didn't really want to have to do that, but it's looking like that's what I'm going to have to do. So bear with me while I get some tools and I'll be back in a minute. So the 10mm spanner here, this is uncharted territory this, so I'm not 100% sure exactly what I'm going to do here. But we'll remove this nut and see where it takes us, this nut and bolt. And we'll just slacken it there. Can't actually get at it. Yeah, I think if I slacken that bolt there, which looks very small, looks like about 6mm, does that one? Yep, I think it is. It is 8mm. So if I slacken that one there, maybe even remove it, we should be somewhere near. I think if I can hold it up there, it might be okay. So let's have a look, let's see if we can get this wheel off. Push the shock absorber up out of the way. This wheel does not want to come off. I'll go back on. Hello, I'm back again. I've had another think over the weekend and over last week about how to get my wheel off, how to get my tyre off the back of the Modena. I've got it off now. I've got it off by letting the tyre down. The problem was the tyre itself was catching here on the flywheel casing, here on the corner, which I wasn't too bothered about because you can bend that back to some extent, and it was catching on the mud flap. I couldn't get it out because of the mud flap. So I've undone the mud flap, I've let the tyre down, and with a bit of squeezing and jiggery pokery, I managed to get it out. So now the tyre's flat. I don't know if you can see any cracking on it. There's certainly quite a bit of cracking in there. I don't know if you can see, if it'll focus on it. Well, there's definitely cracking in there, which really means the tyre's old. It's a shame really, because there's loads of tread on this tyre and I would have liked to have kept it a bit longer, but I don't know where to risk the tyre going pop on me. So while I've got the tyre off, I can have a quick look at the brake shoes. And the brake shoes are here. I'm not going to move them in any way because I want to be able to get the wheel back on. And I don't know if you know, but the wheel on the Modena, the back wheel, has got the brake drum integral, so the brake drum needs to go back on over these shoes, and if I move them slightly I might struggle getting it back on. So I can have a quick check of the brake shoes to make sure they look alright, make sure the oil seal there, which seals the final drive assembly from the other side, stops the oil coming through, is okay, and it looks okay. That the shoes have plenty of meat on, they're not rusted, they don't look like the lining is coming away from the metal shoe itself, they look fine. Everything else around there looks fine. Quick check, nothing seems untoward or anything. Everything looks okay, the brakes look fine. So now I'm going to get the tyre off and put the new one on. So I've already done that in a previous video, so I'm going to sign off for a short while and come back when I've changed the tyre on the wheel. Right, we're back. I've got the tyre on the wheel now, and I've just about managed to get the wheel back into place. You can probably see there how the tyre's sticking out here, so catches on there. It's sticking out here, so catches on there, and it's catching the mudguard. But hopefully we're all good to go now. I just need to get the wheel back on the brake shoes, and then we're rocking. We're on the last bit. We're on the home straight. Is she going to go? Oh, look at that! Yeah, we're on the brake pad. We're on the brake shoes. We're rotating. Everything's hunky dory. So now it's basically just a reversal of how I started to take it apart, which I will film now. So first thing we'll do is, then we don't forget it, we'll put the spacer on there. And then the next thing we'll do, we'll put this bracket back on here, which supports the mud flap, or helps to support the mud flap, the mud guard, whatever you like to call it. And then that one in there. And once I've got that one in there, we'll do those up. I suppose what I should really do before I do anything else is blow the tyre up, because if it won't blow up I may have to take it off and play around with it. But I'll put this on, I'll fasten this on, and then I'll blow it up. So what I'll do, now I've got that on and sort of semi-tightened, I'll turn the filming off now. I'll start the compressor because it's really loud, and I'll stick some air in the tyre and see if we blow her up. Okay, let's stick some air in the tyre. Let's get the beads seated. I haven't put the Schrader valve core back in because I want to get the beads on, and the Schrader valve core can sometimes be a little bit of a hindrance to getting the correct amount of air in quickly. So let's see how we go. And there we go. Both beads on. Let's check the line around it. Yep. Run my hand around there. Yep, both beads are on. So let's put the valve core back in, and then we'll blow it up correctly. Nice and snug with the valve core. Not too tight, but not too slack. Now let's see if we can get 33 psi in here. Yep, that's correct. So, a little bit of spit on the valve just to make sure there's no leaks. If there was a leak, that would bubble up, and there's no bubbling up, so we're good to go there. Let's put the valve cap back on, and we'll carry on rebuilding. So we know the tyre's good to go now. We've got our little ferrule on there, our little spacer. We've got the first item on there. I don't really know what this thing's for here, this bracket. I have a feeling it must carry some sort of cable or wire or something. Maybe it's for a different model. So we need to get that back in there now and tighten that up. one. Tighten that one up. That's another one. Making good progress now. There's another one. So we've got those brackets on, we've got the mud flap on. Tyre turns quite freely actually, so I was thinking it may, with the tyre's a bit wider than the one that came off, so I was wondering if it would catch on the mud flap, on the mud flap. So, but it seems okay. So let's put this bracket back on with the bearing in for the rear wheel axle. Okay, the nut and the washer. And while we're at it, we'll reconnect this, the shock absorber, because it tends to pull the bracket up and into line slightly. And that, when I find it, is 12mm if I remember correctly. Here we go. Next to be done is the axle bolt. The eagle eyes amongst you will notice I'm not using an impact socket on my impact wrench. That's because I don't actually own any impact sockets. It can be quite dangerous using just the normal chrome vanadium sockets on an impact wrench, because they can be prone to shattering. So if you can, get proper black impact wrench sockets, you know then that you're doing the job correctly. So, you know, I'm not particularly safe doing this, but I do. Now then, we need to torque that bolt up now to between 70 and 90 Newton meters. So using my torque wrench, I'm going to set it to 80 Newton meters. I'll come round here. I may have to hold the rear brake to stop it from turning. Which I do. The next to last job now is to refit the exhaust. Having just checked that everything's in place here, make sure you've missed nothing out. Okay, so the exhaust basically is a reversal of the video I did prior to this one, where I showed you how to remove the exhaust so you could take the tyre off, or even to change the exhaust. So the job's all done and finished now. We're nice and safe and legal again. We're okay to go on the road. It's always been in the back of my mind that I might have had a problem with one of the tyres, or both of them even. So the next job, I'm not really sure what the next job's going to be. I'm maybe going to dig some bits and pieces out of one of our favourite auction sites, and maybe see if I can show people how these pieces work and how to clean them up, etc. So we'll see. I'll think of something in the next week or two. So next stop now, Mod Weekender at Clitheroe in a couple of weeks. We're going to have a nosy at that and see what bikes there are there, and see if I can do a bit of a video of that. So catch you then.